Hi everyone, welcome to KLINK Africa. This is a place where Africans unite, congregate, have conversations. We're here to debunk the myths of Africa being, a continent that is not happening, because it really is. We've got beautiful women, we've got beautiful landscape, we've got beautiful clothes. I'm wearing an African designed jacket. We are here to share, to have a place for sisterhood, because conversations are not being had out there, guys, and we need to help each other out. Yeah. Tips need to be shared. Where can I find her? Where can I find nice earrings? So this is a platform, and it was born really out of, me having beautiful sisterhood that I thought need to be celebrated out there.
And also, it's such an injustice, right? Because people see I call them the Google versions of ourselves. Absolutely. Those are only one more section of who we are, and people miss out on the holistic picture.
Some people may think you just said Google version. You said Google version. But I mean, I think people see this picture and assume that this was always the picture.
Yes.
But little do they know that, we've all walked different paths to get here. I often ask people, what has it taken for you to get here?
Yeah.
What have you given up to get here?
But also, I think, we also assume people know what we do. This is a podcast made up of 3 beautiful, independent women, but what do they do for a living? I am a chartered accountant by training. I'm an entrepreneur. I am a curator of the KLINK lifestyle page. My name is Karabo Nondumo also. I feel like I assume that as well. And I'm a mom of 2 boys. Teenagers that has its own challenges. I'm no longer with the father of my children, so we co-parent, which also has its own topic for another day.
Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur operating in the African continent, there are certain challenges that one faces. But I also am involved in boards of listed companies across the continent, right? Which allows one to travel, to experience places and share your own professional space with the rest of the continent.
And someday we're going to have to tell people what it means to be on the board of these companies, because we're also assuming people know what that is.
We're assuming that is, But that's me, and with the vast experience and knowledge and exposure, right? I personally thought this is a platform where we can get to share that.
Fantastic.
And I don't know.
It's been I a girl from Rockville, Soweto. I am a strategist, public policy, geopolitics expert. Sit on some listed boards as well. I have really just done this for the longest. Started off as a journalist, interestingly.
Oh, wow.
I was a political journalist at the SABC. And I think that gave me the grounding to not fear anything, understand that there are questions to be asked, and I find that it's grounded me in being able to being curious. I'm constantly thinking, sometimes it makes me come across as contrarian, but it's. So what else is there? What's the next question? What's not being asked?
What's the story?
Behind the story?
I've actually seen you do that at dinner.
So that's my background. I'm a mom, 2 boys, 2 bonus boys. My name, I Google Sipamla, wife to a lovely guy. Hello, dude. Grateful to be here.
And my co-investor.
And
I have an investment company. We're partners in an investment company. Yes.
Awesome.
And you, Miss Bang?
Woo! My name is Siape Mafuyane. I am a small-town girl with big city dreams.
Wow.
Born and raised in Mafikeng, so northwestern girl, and that's where I met Korabo.
Yeah.
When we were still bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, with dreams of taking over the world. And I am a microbiologist by training, and that's a story for another day. Literally, I remember doing the Ini Mini Mini Mo on registration day at the University of Natal, and have never worked a day as a microbiologist. My background is in business strategy, and I've done that across financial services, first in health insurance for the longest time, and then in the bank, as banker for 5 years, building customer strategies for a retail bank. And in the kind of my last corporate stint is in the development space. And I'm very passionate about the development space. So I am an ESG expert with kind of a broad view of the ESG landscape and its impact on economic growth. I have a passion for that, as well as entrepreneurship. I'm a business coach, I'm a consultant, I'm an entrepreneur as well. And yeah, that's what I bring to the table, and super excited about having conversations about really how layered we are as well as individuals. And you're listening to the conversations that we're having. I think as we've gotten older, it's so tough to answer the question of who we are, because we're so many people in so many spaces, right? Yeah.
And also, you know, our upbringing, what has shaped us.
Oh, yeah.
True.
I mean, I'm also a village girl. You know, my parents divorced also when I was very young, you know, went to live with my mother's family and walked kilometers to school, which wasn't a big deal because we all walked.
Yeah.
So we didn't think of it as a big deal, you know, and come, you know, start at 5 at the time, grade 7, where, you know, the parents, as part of a divorce settlement, we were saying, let's send you to boarding school, to you know, a higher education school. And I mean, I was, remember, the number one. I was number one. Always. And I didn't have to study. So I didn't actually understand why. I got number one, but I was always number one. And I go to the school. Kaboom. Yo. Reality humble pie. Guys, I like don't know what's going on.
Too many things going on at the same time, right?
But the change,
the drastic change, you know, from a village to a town.
So many adjustments.
Everybody, I mean, it was a feeder. There was a feeder primary school, so there was a bunch of kids who came in already knowing each other.
You're the only one.
And now there's this education system that's on another level.
You're also traumatized. You're coming. Your parents have just gotten divorced. So
no. At the time it had been a few years.
Okay.
You know, but I think it was more the adjusting. And the living away from home. You know, with other girls. You know, it was just a lot. But you know, you persevere, I guess. I mean, after a year, you're settled with the boarding situation. But then, you know, you go to school with rich kids. And you are not.
And you're not. How does that play out?
You know, I don't know. I think.
Gary.
I mean, my mom always, you know, drove the point home that you're not your second. You know, this is what I want for you. This is where I pitch you at. You know, but what she doesn't know is the everyday living with it. You know, people invite you to their homes,
and then you have to invite
drivers, pick them up from school.
God.
And now it's your turn. You're gonna see that car. You're gonna pick them in. End of time.
And where are you going,
guys? This father worked for. My father was a manager at a furniture shop.
That's not a bad thing.
End of term. The small flatbed that went to deliver the bed at someone's house must come and fetch him to school, must come by at me. Boom! And my friends are waiting, our rich friends.
So you see the car, you see the car coming.
You can probably hear it. We will see today how you go home.
The road.
Oh no.
But that stuff was character building, Fred.
Deliver anything else.
Oh my gosh, Carol.
And you know, maybe sending a message.
And Papa's right there. Balam.
Proud, but also proud.
Yeah.
Right?
And then you know they had a small like section in front,
yeah.
you know, like 2-3 meter.
But when you're young, you don't have that.
And that's the
thing.
But for me, I think that's the beauty of youth, though. I honestly, Gary, I didn't carry those issues.
Oh, no,
I wished for them, but I didn't carry the burden of I don't have. In fact, in my school, also scholarship kid.
Yeah.
And it was clear. And anyone who went to the international school, you know, everybody knew who the scholarship kids were. You just because
even now you know.
Yeah. And I remember people used to say, because my dad's car would overheat.
I'm not laughing.
Oh, and you know, I mean, my parents, guys, I mean, like I take my hat off for them having exposed us to this. But people would like come screaming, say, hey, your dad is here. And that's because the car would be parked by the pool. And the kids were so amazing that they'd see my dad's car park, and the first thing he'd do is open the bonnet and they'd run and give him 2 liters of water to help cool it down. And by the time I was done playing sports and whatever,
How
it would
old
be
are you?
cool enough to go 12, 13, you know? But yeah, I mean, I think it was all in the name of fun. Also, saw access. Like I saw wealth that then as a child, and it just opens up your eyes. You start dreaming about far bigger.
Yeah.
I remember a particular girl, and I still remember her name. I won't mention it here. She was in my boarding house because then I got into boarding school. And one afternoon after sports activities, the police were called, the local police. So we were told, get into the dining area and no one knew. In your sports kit, no one shower, you have no access to your rooms. And the police were searching the boarding house from top to bottom. And after like an hour of sitting through this, we're like, but what has happened? And the housemaster, Mr. Sanderson, said to us, you know, one of you girls has lost a Rolex watch.
A Rolex?
Yeah. I had no idea.
A Rolex? Did you know what you want?
I didn't know. Or I went to them, and at the time we called them panya panya. You know those ones that used to flash? Yeah. And okay, I think it was 2 rands. My dad wouldn't even get me that, and somebody had lost a Rolex.
Where police had to come and search.
We're 12.
I mean, they
We're
should.
13
Rolex.
years old, 14 at the most.
A Rolex.
You know?
Because
I grew up in Rockville, Soweto.
Yeah.
Do you know where Regina Mundi is?
Yes.
So close to Regina Mundi. And I must say, we were all the same. I didn't know we didn't have.
Yeah.
Because we were all the same. So that part of my life was good.
Yeah.
We were, you know, all on the same level, you know, different circumstances. Even though I think some kids that grew up with me probably thought I had a white picket fence lifestyle. I didn't. My mom was a nurse. My dad was also a salesperson. So, you know, there was a lot of just this is who we are. Where things changed was when I went to boarding school in Swaziland, and my dad, may God rest his soul, came to visit. I mean, this was an interesting story. He came to visit, and he came on a Friday. Now, he also wasn't the kind of guy who was a model dad who'd come to school. So this was a surprise for me. But I was excited. He came in his yellow Sprinter.
Hey.
Remember those Corolla Sprinters?
Yes.
Came and had no plastic bags, nothing. He just came to see me. He drove all the way from from Soweto to Swaziland. And it was a Friday, as I mentioned, and then he left in the evening after, you know, spending some time with me. Saturday morning, we had chores that we had to do, so cleaning the netball stadium or whatever it was that I was assigned to. While walking down with my friends at 6 a.m., we see a yellow Sprinter.
Oh, good.
So, Dad had a thing with my headmistress.
Come on! Oh my God! What?
Okay, I didn't know at that time. So my friend say,
Emma, baby.
is that? You remember the cars used to say TJ?
Yes.
So it's not like an SD card.
Oh,
So somebody says, "Is that your dad?" And I knew that he's not supposed to be at headmistress's house.
Oh,
And
so you won't even think, oh my God.
so I automatically said, "No, he forgot to bring me my stuff, groceries, so that's what he's bringing." And they were like, "But how did he come in?" Because the gates were still closed. I was like, "No, they let him in." I mean, how do I know all of these things? But
So you're already, you've gone ahead, you're already making
You have
a,
said the answer.
yeah.
hey.
So needless to say, as we're cleaning the basketball stadium, we see the yellow Sprinter
leaving. Oh,
So, I mean, we all have different traumas. We all have different traumas. That was mine. Because obviously, girls' school, so you can imagine how it was. Everybody
the
was
story
talking about
ran.
it.
Absolutely.
Oh.
And we carry the stuff.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it just manifests later in life. You're like, that is
That is what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big time.
And can I tell you, I never told my mom.
Oh.
No, because how
You're
could
going
I?
into
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
title.
So now I have secrets.
Secrets.
Yeah.
I never told.
Oh, sure. Go hug that inner child.
Yeah, you know, that now that we're here, guys, with our, traumas and our inner child issues, how do we show up? Oof. In the workplace and
Yeah, I intentionally, Karabo, show up with compassion. I think it's something I wasn't given, or it didn't show up in my growing up from my peers, and because as I told you, there were some people who assumed I had this amazing life,
yeah.
but behind closed doors, I knew So I lead with compassion. It's a deliberate thing. I am deliberately compassionate. It's my first point
Yeah.
of call, so it is my leadership style.
Wow.
And the abuse of that sometimes.
Oh, trampled upon.
Sorry for
Trampled,
another day.
trampled upon. And it doesn't help that my voice is soft.
Yeah.
And it comes across as if I'm out of character when I suddenly say, okay, no.
And it's in your expression
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Yeah. Change face and like, okay, it's about to get I show up with gratitude. I'm so grateful for my life, for my circumstances, for my ability to bring this to life.
Yeah.
I always am so grateful for having the mom that I had, and the influence that she had in my life, for the discernment of the need to do healing.
Yeah.
Right.
It was the biggest revelation for me, because a lot of things that have shaped you didn't realize that were toxic.
Yeah.
But when did you realize that you had to take care of that healing?
I think life took me there. I lost both my parents. I did not mourn them. I did not, internalize that. I just moved on. Then I got married, and then I got kids, and, life moved on, and my career was taking off. And then, certain events happened in life where it forced me to slow down. I remember the first time I had booked a therapist session, which was scary because, it's something that I've been scared to do.
Yes.
And then I went to gym, and I had this big tear,
Sure.
So I forced myself to go to her, and it turns out I had torn my Achilles tendon.
Yeah.
And she says, the lower part of your body is about movement. So you needed to slow down.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you're always running. You're always
Running away from the big feeling is a big
So this is one way of your body and the universe telling you to slow down and face that.
Yeah.
It was a big journey.
And this was your first time acknowledging.
Yeah.
Because grief will demand your
Yes.
attention.
Yes. It
does
did.
demand to be felt.
Absolutely.
I think I've been doing healing work probably longer than most. I think there was a time I used to traumatize my friends about, guys, I found one, a therapist, and I was led there. I think for a good long while, I thought I had a great life, better than most. But there'd be triggers, that song that makes you cry uncontrollably and you don't know why. Sometimes it's the gaps in your memory. Like there's just a portion of my life I just don't remember in detail.
I can relate to that.
And I was in traffic. I was still at the bank at the time, driving home. Scary story. And I just remember this lady, this mama, who stood out to me. She was standing at the bus stop with other people, but it was her expression. And how I remember it, it was like the world was moving in slow motion. But I kept seeing her kind of trying to, like, moving her arms in the air. And I was thinking, what is she doing? You know, and when I looked up, I was driving into oncoming traffic on the wrong side of the road. And I then spun out close to the bus stop and sat there completely shaken, like my body was shaking from top to bottom. And a colleague of mine at the bank had been doing some work. And she'd found a therapist in Harities of all places who was doing incredible work. And it wasn't like your normal therapy. They call it subconscious mind therapy. And I just remember sitting in the car, picking up my phone and calling Trisha and saying, I need a session with your therapist. And this was on a Thursday. On the Friday, I was on the road driving to Harities for my very first session, and I've never stopped. And the most incredible thing that I've ever done for myself, and also super surprised by the stuff that came out.
You know, I've always been scared of therapists because I'd always think, so I'm going to bring this all out to the fore. Who's going to put me back
together, falling apart.
And it's a lot of work. You will be ripped apart.
Absolutely. In order to build back again. Hey?
But I also think for me that, you know, I always felt that we're going to have a connection. Because you can see all sorts of people, but it never quite resonates. You know, so I trusted the path to finding me the right person. You know, and fortunately it has worked out. You know, because I know people who don't get any benefit. And they lose.
You know, interestingly, that we're talking about this. I think we were chatting with Sia that, you know, most people look at us and think we have it all figured out. And I realized that, you know, for me, there's so many stages that I've had to let go of. Stages of, we've spoken about this, the people pleasing phenomena, the journey of just thinking that because I show up being a good person, everybody else is the same. Expecting the same. My journey has been, for the better part of my life, has been about loss, because I lost all members of my family. So my dad, my mom, my brother, my two brothers actually, because I had a half brother. And it created a bit of, there was a time when it made me panic. I still think that my kids would say I parent in an overprotective way. I'm very much, I want to be there, I want to know they're okay kind of thing. And that loss created a huge insecurity for me of losing people that are around me. And I'm slowly coming to a point where I'm trying to relax and not lead my life with fear of losing.
But I think this is where the therapy helps. You know, to deal with that, because I think things have impact on us and we don't realize it until they manifest into something else. But then, guys, with all this amazingness, what's next? What's in store for Gugu, for Sebs, for Karabo?
You know, for me, the relentless. I mean, you guys were laughing at me that I decided to go back to school.
No, we did not laugh. We just had to take late night meetings because of the time zones. But
so I think for me, I'm at a place where I'm giving myself permission to be. So if I feel like, you know, I want to spend 2 years at Harvard, I'm going to spend 2 years at Harvard. If I want to spend, it's permission. I'm at a point where I'm giving myself permission. I have always worked in the confines of doing the
What's
right thing,
good,
showing up.
Yeah,
Being-
what served
What served
at a certain
everyone.
time.
So I'm
love
at
it
that
for you,
place
Google.
where I'm saying, Google, you have the permission to do whatever you want.
Clink to that. I think that's just
Yeah,
a clink.
absolutely. But then, is it? What about the people in your life?
Permission
Or you don't?
for Google to Google.
Hey,
Google.
permission for Google to Google by Google.
Cheers.
I love it. I
Wow.
absolutely love it. I think I am in the. And I love it because you're calling it permission. I call it self-indulgence. I have never indulged CFA. I've indulged everybody in my life. I've indulged, the education system. I was grateful for it and felt like I have to do my best. And I got to varsity and hesitated about partying because, if you mess up, there's
you
no
failed
backup.
everyone.
And started working immediately, was like, I'm responsible. And my dad took ill and, took that on. And I just feel like I've just been taking on. And I'm at a point in my life, even leaving corporate, right? And coming into the space where you're like, okay, I'm doing me.
Right.
I am opening myself up to the fact that I'm a lot of things. I'm not just a corporate girl.
A lot of things.
Here we are sitting in front of cameras doing KLINK. This is indulgent for me because I've lived a life. I'm not on social media, guys, where I've always been hiding, let my good work speak for me. But I'm indulging myself. I have gone into home design and decoration, something that I love. And I never thought, because I never thought all pieces of me could coexist at the same time.
That is so true.
2 years ago, I co-authored a book, Google, and, and
You've always wanted to write.
and I've always wanted to write, and I just never thought that there was space to do that. I thought I had to pick
I love the
which
self-indulgence.
CFA I am, and now I'm all of them. I'm an aunt, I'm a godmom, Gary is going across to see the boys at school for a week. I'm in there. Why not? And I just love that. I'm coaching. I have a passion for entrepreneurs on the continent, and I'm doing that. I am
Present.
present in my life.
And she has one other that she has not done, is to sing.
Oh, wow. But I can hear her voice.
Her?
I can
So
hear
she
your
also
voice.
has that part of her song.
That's the funny. I think that's the last taker before I die. So I give myself permission to do that. And isn't it amazing though that the world brings you what you need and who you need?
Yeah.
So Kari is if you mention it in front of her, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Oh,
I know. So you're in trouble.
Yeah, Kari, African women must talk. Hey, the women's table. The next thing she set up a meeting. Said, what are we doing? Where's the? Woo, okay.
Yeah,
Even the home design. She was like, you want a home design?
Yeah.
She's the one who's out there finding me clients, and it's beautiful. I think love the sisterhood.
Yeah.
But what's
Thank you,
next
guys.
for Kari?
Same with what you said, realizing all different pieces of it. I realize there are many things, and I'm loving the opportunity to be able to be those many things. We always say with Sebs that, when we die, we want the to half-mast baby. And then we're like, but how is it going to be half-mast if the road is...
Why is it? Yeah.
People deserve to, it's a sign of acknowledgement of your contribution. So, doing half-mast things.
Yes, we constantly
I saw that chapter in you 3 years ago.
Oh.
Yeah. There was, I think I told you, we were sitting at a restaurant together and I said, you've switched on
The
that
light has come on.
Yeah. So
Thank
thank you.
you. Bad on because it was always there.
Yeah.
It just got switched off fine.
Yeah.
Life.
So I'm glad. I'm happy, and I want to be in the light.
Yeah.
And you radiated as well.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
No.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, thank you for such a beautiful,
Thank you.
conversation, sharing, and let us know, at home what you think. what are the African stories that resonate? You know, because we think this is an African story.
Yeah.
You know, we girls that are hustlers, girls that are
Not giving up.
go-getters, not giving up.
Yep.
And more than anything, stepping into all aspects of themselves.
And not
Greatness.
seeing this and thinking this has always been there.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I can't relate. These guys have had silver spoons in their mouths. I
Yeah.
mean, you heard the car that needed water.
Yay! The overheating car.
The furniture car. So we all have stories. And the yellow.
Why are there car stories here? What's going on here?
So your stories are valid.
Yeah.
Your stories are valid.
Absolutely. Guys, looking forward to connecting, you know, to having more conversations, your opinions. Please follow us on all social media platforms. We are KLINK Africa. Checking out.